By now, many of you have already heard about this story if you're subscribed to Professor Black Truth, to which, if you're not, I don't know why you aren't. He spoke about this on one of his most recent Moment of Truth crime reports, which, of course, is every Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he talked about this individual by the name of Ross Johnson, who was on the left, who killed this man on the right, whose name is Dayvon Larry. Now, as you can see, Dayvon was clearly in the military via the Air Force. Now, basically what happened was a fight broke out inside of a bar or a club, and Ross Johnson, who was a former MMA fighter, punched Dayvon in the back of the head that caused some internal swelling that ended up causing him to die. He never recovered from it. Now, for those of you who are unaware, and I actually recently found this out myself, in MMA, a punch to the back of the head is illegal. You can get fined, you can have charges, you might have title stripped from you. You might have to get suspended as well. That is illegal. All hits basically have to be with visual contact, meaning the person has to see the hit coming. Basically, a hit to the back of the head is considered like a sucker punch, which basically it is, because no one has eyes in the back of their head. And, with him being an MMA fighter, I'm not sure how the wording is, if it's licensed or registered. His hands will be registered or licensed as lethal weapons. So technically, he would be charged for using a weapon illegally, in this instance against Dayvon Larry, which ended up resulting in death. Now, this is probably the fourth MMA-based story that I have done this year. Dana White being the first one. Then I did another one like a couple weeks later, and one soon after that, and now this one. And you want to know what all of them have in common? Every last one of them dealt with some kind of violent attack. Dana White was when, he slapped his wife. Of course, they got into it on New Year's Eve at a club, and, they were both slapping each other. And then you had the other one a couple weeks later. I forgot his name. I forgot both of their names, actually. And I believe both of them ended up in resulting in the deaths, one of an ex and another one of someone who it was his wife. And now you have this instance right here where another death has occurred from somebody who was MMA fighter. And I told y'all a while ago when I started to notice a pattern, I said, are people going to call out the dangerous nature of those who are in MMA or not? Because this is a cause for concern. But when you look at the demographics, you see how all of that lines up. An amateur MMA fighter has been charged with manslaughter for allegedly killing, I don't know why they say allegedly when he did, a U.S. Air Forceman over the weekend with a single blow to the head in a brawl at Coyote Ugly Saloon in Florida. Ross Johnson, age 23, of Illinois, allegedly slugged Air Force Airman First Class Dayvon Larry, age 31, so hard behind his left ear that he fractured his skull and caused a softball-sized swelling of blood, in affidavit charges. Johnson was arrested Monday on one count of manslaughter for the deadly melee in Panama City Beach and was released after posting a $250,000 bond. He should not have received a bond because someone died. I always tell you there should be instances where someone should and should not receive a bond. And in most instances, in most cases that I've talked about, most of them should not receive one. And this is another one you can throw into that bucket of those who should not have received one. The deadly altercation unfolded Sunday at Coyote Ugly after Johnson's friend got into an argument with another man at the bar, and the dispute soon escalated to the parking lot. Surveillance footage captured a woman alerting Johnson to the fight between his friend and an unidentified man in the parking lot. He is seen jumping over the bar's outdoor patio and delivering the fatal blow to Larry on his way to join the fight. Panama City Beach police allege in the affidavit. Larry dropped to the ground while Johnson allegedly turned his ire on the other man, pummeling him and shoving him to the ground. At some point after the altercation, Johnson appeared to realize that Larry was seriously injured and wrote a woman on Snapchat, "Dude is still not moving." Police said he told another friend, "Man, I hit that guy. I laid him out and I think I killed him." Johnson fled the scene in an Uber to the Holiday Inn Resort, but saw some police outside and switched to the Casa Loma Hotel, where he was tracked down Monday, the affidavit alleges. Now, see, this part right here should have completely denied him a bond. You heard what I just read. It said he hit him so hard that he believes that he killed him, but instead of staying there to get medical help, he panics, he jumps in an Uber, and he leaves what now has become the scene of a crime. This is like the equivalent of a hit and run. You hit somebody with your car and you keep driving away, you don't stop to render any aid. This guy literally hit him, he falls to the ground, and he even claims he thinks he killed him. But he gets in an Uber and he drives away, and they find him at a hotel, and that's where they arrest him at. The left-handed pugilist told investigators that he was an amateur MMA fighter with a record of 5 wins and 2 losses, admitting that he had about 3 years of advanced fighter training. An autopsy determined that Larry died of blunt force trauma to the head. It wasn't clear from the affidavit whether Larry had any connection to the man with whom Johnson and his friend were fighting. Johnson didn't immediately return a request for comment. Larry was well respected at Tyndall Air Force Base, where he was stationed 12 miles east of Panama City Beach. He was a charging force in people's lives by uplifting them and motivating them to always do their best, Sergeant Rosemarie McGill wrote on Facebook. Kyler Hardville, a close friend, called Larry my brother, my ace, my right-hand man. You didn't deserve what happened to you, he wrote on Facebook. I know how much you wanted to make your family proud, and let me say this, bro. You made the world proud. Yeah, that's crazy. First off, let me just offer my condolences to this man's family, his friends, his associates, all of that good stuff, because that easily could have been avoided. Now, the thing is, with this Ross Johnson, he knew what his hits could have done. But the fact of the matter is, and he knew as an MMA fighter, he was not supposed to strike anybody in the back of the head. Now, if he was to hit Dayvon in the front, he might have had a chance to live. He could have at the very most probably fractured a jaw, depending on where he hit him at. But the fact that he hit him in the back of the head that hard that it caught, they said, a softball. Do y'all know how big a softball is? Don't think because it's a softball and not a baseball that it doesn't have size to it. They said he had a softball size swelling of blood. So it was basically a softball size blood clot. Like there was probably no chance he was going to survive this, unless by miracle there was some medical aid on the scene, like right then and there. But that's unpractical. That's not practical. So he pretty much probably died almost instantly from that one hit, and that swelling probably came up immediately. Like it wasn't one that just gradually came on. It was probably one of them blows that as soon as it happened, the what I'm assuming is a clot just started to form right then and there. And he knew he wasn't supposed to do that, and he did it anyway. He could have gave this guy a body shot or something, if that's what he was trying to do. But no, he went for the back of the head, behind the ear. I can only imagine how he felt when he got hit. His brain was probably rattled. He was probably like living outside of his head at that point. If he was to manage to have miraculously survived this, he probably would have been damaged for life. So either way, he would not have been good. It's just unfortunately that he lost his life behind this. So in my opinion, this Ross Johnson should definitely face way more scrutiny and way more charges than whatever it is he has now. Because I haven't read anything that says that he has really been charged with anything, unless I misread something. They just said that he was arrested and he bonded out. But he needs to be definitely charged. Well, yeah, I forgot manslaughter. Duh. I did read that. He got hit with manslaughter charges. But I have a feeling they might upgrade that. The fact that he fled the scene and didn't try to render him any aid even after he acknowledged that he might have killed him, that's a red flag for me. And they said he fled and went back to the hotel. Who knows what he was trying to do when he got back to that hotel? Maybe he was trying to leave. So, yeah. This is, like I said, this is probably like the 4th MMA-based story that I've done this year that involves some kind of violent attack on someone, with now 3, you can say, resulting in death.